Be sure to subscribe for more content.
What is up, ladies and gents? Welcome to the BigBC Finance Channel, and I hope you're having a very lovely day today. So in today's video, we're going to be talking about none other than Shiba Inu, what has happened to it recently, and where I predict the price to go to in the near future, as well as some key price levels and some trades I'm looking to make. So be sure to stay tuned for all of that. And of course, if you appreciate the daily analysis on this channel, be sure to hit the subscribe button if you haven't done so already. So without further ado, let's get into Shiba Inu and the annotations that I have on screen. So what are we seeing here on Shiba Inu? So since I last made a video here on Shib, basically what we are starting to see here on Shiba Inu is some sort of retracement from its high here of 15.5 cents. We basically come down from this parabolic rise that we had on Shiba Inu. We've kind of consolidated in this area, and it looks like we're starting to head a little bit downwards. Now, of course, looking at some of the annotations that I have made here, we've got this yellow line, which is our long-term resistance that now we've come back under on Shib. We have this orange line, which has been our bullish support, which again, Shiba Inu is starting to cross underneath from, and we have these free moving averages here. Now, the shortest one is the 50-hour moving average. This was kind of supported on the way up when we were ultra bullish here on Shiba Inu. The price was way above this 50-hour moving average, and this 100-hour moving average forms quite a nice support here. As you can see, price bounced off of it a few times in this region, as you can see here, for example, just as it bounced off the 50-hour moving average in this region. Now we have this one in dark green, which is kind of our last support here at 200 hours. So this is the 200-hour moving average, and what we see here is we have one test of this 200-hour moving average, and now we've just tested it again. And this 200-hour moving average is one that we particularly want to keep because it's the last bullish support before we could definitely be heading in a new trend. So of course, already we've broken through this bullish trend that we have here on Shib, meaning that we could be starting a new trend. We've got declining volume that we can draw a trend line from. So we've got a trend line, ignoring this parabolic peak that we saw here. We saw this trend going in a downwards direction, and meaning that volume is decreasing and attention to Shiba Inu is probably also decreasing as well. And of course, we've crossed below this major support here, major yellow support that's been and we've crossed below this yellow major resistance that we've had on Shib since the start of 2022. In fact, the end of 2021 from back up here. So a long-term major support that we've come back down under. So a lot of things are starting to point in a bearish direction. However, it's not all lost yet, of course. And what I'm kind of seeing is potentially something that looks like this, kind of as something that could guide where the price might go in the near term future. And I do believe we're seeing some sort of triangle that looks like this. Of course, if I just put this in purple so you guys can see it a little bit better. Basically, I think we're going to be forming something that looks like this, which is, of course, a massive triangle. And the implication of this is pretty huge indeed. Of course, I don't think it's going to be one swift motion, but if this triangle plays out, then we could see a breakout to an upside, which is very large. We could potentially reach up to 16.5 cents on Shiba Inu, which would be just short of where I anticipated the price to get to, at 17 to 18 cents. But if we break down from this triangle, we could not only see a full retracement, we could go to as low as 9 cents here on Shiba Inu. Now, of course, not all chart patterns are perfect, so there's no guarantee that this will be followed. And of course, if we do see some sort of breakout from this triangle, so we see a breakdown of the price, or we see a breakthrough of this triangle, and we see an increase in volume here, then we could actually see the price go in stages. So something like this, where there's a gradual decline or eventually a gradual rise in the upwards direction like this as well. So it's not going to be one massive pump, out of this triangle like this, for example. So just bear that in mind if you are looking at Shib now, and do exercise a little bit of patience if you do see a breakout. So that's one of the things I'm looking at, this triangle formation that could be happening. Of course, this is quite short term, and obviously it coincides with what's going to happen in just a few hours time from making this video, which is the interest rate decision that's coming out at 6 p.m. UTC. So at the time of making this video, that's going to be happening in about 2.5 hours. And basically, the Federal Reserve is going to raise the interest rates by a certain amount. Of course, the majority consensus, so what investors think and what the general public seem to think, is that it's going to be the same as last time. So they're going to raise the interest rates by 75 basis points. Now, of course, if that does happen, then that would be almost in line with expectations, as the economy is still not doing as bad as the Federal Reserve wants. But of course, it means that the Fed is continuing to be very aggressive with its rate hikes, and we should see a lot of volatility in the markets if they choose 75 basis points. So for example, we should see large green or red candles form in this region here. So of course, on Shiba Inu, if you're looking at it as the Fed does its interest rate decision, we should see the price go a little bit crazy down here. Of course, right now it's very tame compared to what will happen when that interest rate decision is made. But we could see a small pump here on Shiba Inu, but in the short term, so over the course of days and weeks, that should be generally quite bullish, and I do think the bias will be in this downwards direction. And of course, this interest rate decision will not just affect Shiba Inu, it will affect basically every cryptocurrency and every stock. And of course, if it is a 75 basis point increase, then we should see a decrease here on Bitcoin as well. Bitcoin forming this triangle, I do think we're going to head lower if we see that 75 basis points increase. But if we see a lower one, say 50 basis points instead of 75, then of course, over the longer term, that's still bearish. We're still increasing interest rates, which ultimately probably lead to some sort of recession. But in the short term, that should be very bullish. And we could see a breakout of this triangle on Shiba Inu and head higher in the prices. So if we do see 50, then I would expect to hit this region here again in the very short term. And of course on Bitcoin, again, we see that triangle there. So we could be heading higher on Bitcoin into the 21,000s if we do see a 50 instead of a 75 point basis points hike. So I'm going to be watching that as it comes out at 6 p.m. UTC. I should be streaming it live here on this channel, so do be sure to check in at that time. And of course, finally, we've got to compare what Shiba Inu is doing with Dogecoin, because at the moment, Dogecoin is in a bit of a touchy area as well. Of course, Dogecoin is going to be the one getting the most attention because that's the one most associated with Elon Musk. And at this moment, we can see that the relative strength of Shiba Inu is starting to falter against Dogecoin. So what I mean by that is Shiba Inu and Dogecoin had similar price movements on its way up. Of course, when Dogecoin started to pump, we saw that in Shiba Inu as well. But quite recently, we're starting to see divergences between the price action of Shiba Inu and Dogecoin. And what I mean by that is, if we take a look at Dogecoin and we connect, say, this bit here and draw a trend line on Dogecoin's price, we can draw a trend line that looks something like this. Okay, so I just removed all the annotation so I can show you a little bit better. But basically, if we have a look at Dogecoin's price, so the orange line that you see going along here, basically we can draw a trend line connecting the bottoms here. And what you see is something going in the upwards direction, right? That's a very, very bullish trend line. Now, if we do the same here for Shiba Inu and we draw that same trend line, we can see that actually it's getting a lot more bearish. You can see that it's a lot more straight. This is not going in an upwards direction. This is going in a straight direction. So, the difference between the Dogecoin price and the Shiba Inu price is showing some sort of negative divergence for Shiba Inu. So basically, Shiba Inu is losing its momentum compared to Dogecoin. Dogecoin is still going in a more upwards trend when Shiba Inu is going sideways. And of course, this wasn't always the case. If we go back in time a little bit, just back to the 29th of October, for example, we can see here that just by comparing Dogecoin to Shiba Inu, we see similar directions in both their price movements. So of course, if we just take this, for example, then we can see that we can draw a similar line here on Shiba Inu connecting the same period there, and they're both going in a bullish direction. So, the relative strength was a lot more similar back here when the pump started to happen than it is now, which is a sign of weakness for Shiba Inu. Of course, the correlation is starting to end, and I do think that's another bearish point for Shiba Inu. Again, you can see the peaks here, for example, on Shiba Inu and the peaks here on Dogecoin. And again, we see some crazy negative divergence for Shiba Inu. So this is another warning sign for me that Shiba Inu is losing its momentum. Of course, very, very finally, I'm just going to show you the indicators as well, just to see what they are saying as well. Are they going to be bullish or bearish for Shiba Inu? And we've got the trusty MACD and the RSI up. And what we are seeing here is, again, a loss of momentum. Again, what we can see here is a loss of momentum. Basically, we see the MACD below the 0 line there. We see the RSI in a sold region instead of the buy region below that 50 line there. And of course, we can see some sort of divergence come up. If we connect the lows here on Shiba Inu, this is going in a flattish direction. But if we do the same here on the RSI, we're starting to see this negative trend line here on the RSI. And if we do the same with the MACD, it's actually still flat as well. So MACD is not showing it yet, but the RSI is starting to show some negative divergence there. So the MACD and the RSI in negative territory, indicating that the momentum for Shiba Inu has probably already peaked and it's starting to go down now. And there's a potential divergence being set up here on Shiba Inu. It's obviously not very strong since the MACD didn't really show it and the RSI was fairly weak in its divergence, but there is one, I believe, cropping up. And of course I'm wary for what's next for Shiba Inu. It really depends on this interest rate hike that's happening in just a few hours. It also depends if Elon Musk tweets. If Elon Musk does tweet, to be fair, we could see another pump in Shiba Inu. That is not out of the question. So that is something also I'm looking for here on Shiba Inu. And additionally, I'm looking for, if we see some bullish price action for whatever throughout the whole of crypto, then Shiba Inu should follow suit. And of course, I'm looking out for these retracement lines as well. So at the moment, we're sitting at the 0.618 retracement on the Fibonacci retracement lines, which tell us where we could encounter areas of support and resistance. So if the price continues to head down, we should find some support at this 11 cents region here on Shib. But if we can't hold that, then we could be heading down to 10 cents, which would be a complete retracement of where the price was just a few days ago. So that is another thing I'm keeping my eye on. Of course, if the price cannot hold this level here and we start heading downwards, then this should be our next take profit level. And if we continue to head down there, then we should see a full retracement. So that's my verdict here on Shiba Inu. Of course, I'm kind of sitting out the markets in general just because of this interest rate decision. It should add a lot of volatility in here, but it's not all bearish for Shiba Inu. I do think there is some upside to be had if there is a certain set of conditions that come by. But generally, just looking at the indicators, it is more bearish than it is bullish. So, unless something happens, I do think we're going to continue to head lower. So that's pretty much all I have to say in this video. Thank you so much for watching. Do let me know in the comments if you're holding any Shiba Inu. Otherwise, I'll see you in my next video.